Good morning, and let's welcome one another to another edition of the Art of Encouragement. I am Nick Patterson. I am joined by my friends and co-hosts Mark Guy and Greg McClintock. So glad to be here with you all today. Mark is coming in here in just a moment, but Greg,
Good
tell me.
morning.
Good morning. How's your day? How's everything this week? Just say hello.
Hello, everybody from Southern Ohio on the Ohio River overlooking Appalachia. It's sunny and hot. I don't know if the rest of the news got the memo. Some of us in the mountains don't even care to have a TV, but 100 degrees is 100 degrees. We've got our share. I'm Greg McClennick. It's really good to be here again this week. Looking forward to another way to encourage one another. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Greg. Good morning, my friend Nick. Of course, my friend Greg,
Good
everyone,
morning.
all the friends who are watching us. It is hot everywhere on this planet. So must be summertime. I don't know. What's going on?
I'm not sure either, Mark, what's going on, but you're right. It is hot here in Florida. The temperatures are rising day by day. It is nothing to see triple digits on my dashboard right now. And, just getting used to that, it's something else. Greg, how about up in Ohio? How's everything there? How's the
Yeah, I
weather?
just commented on it lightly. Today's day four of 100-degree heat index combined. It's like 96. And then we're in the valley and in the mountains, and it's lush, dense forest. And within an hour or two, either way, if you're so humidity tide, right at a pressing, squeezing, nice swampy feel. You like it in Florida. For those who don't want to feel like a sponge, you can come to Ohio, save a lot of money. We love to have you here. 100, 101. Yeah.
What about where you are, Mr. Mark? How are those temperatures,
Uh,
sir?
Like 94, 94, 95,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
96.
Well, what are
So
you
it
guys
has
up to
been.
today? Greg and I were talking about a theme. I said, I think this is a touch point episode where we connect. We've had a few guests. Greg was gone. Just let's encourage one another and talk about the projects we have coming up, some opportunities that maybe our listeners have, and just again, just touch base today. So, Greg, I know you've had a lot going on recently. What do you feel like sharing any of those things? You're muted.
I'm always subconsciously, I'm always wanting to meet my highest demand on feedback, and consistently, whether on or off screen, I get shut up. So I just want to be quiet and please everybody. If it doesn't work, if you're going to have a podcast, you have to talk and be heard. Last week, I saw one of the most wonderful things ever. It's a lifetime moment. My daughter, my daughter's mother, a college sweetheart, Sue, has been fighting successfully, you would argue, in one hand and unsuccessful in the other, fighting the good fight of cancer, stage four, down to stage two, remission a couple times over a 6 year window period. And she's one of the nicest, kindest, hospitable people to be around. I see a thing in life with my mom and my parents when people get older that they start to care less about the carelessness of life when they get older. The things that just don't matter. They're happier, they're easier to be at peace, they don't get rattled about everything that's a panic. And I saw that in her life 48 hours ago. At 9 o'clock in the morning, 48 hours ago, she relinquished and went on to eternity. And we love her already. We miss her much, but we are so glad of her encouraging ways. Here's the last thing she did, the last day of her life. She was in hospice and things wouldn't come along fast enough. So they released her. Hey, you can go home. This is for people that are further along. I guess I don't even know what they said, but she came home. And on the way home, my daughter picked her up, and it's a single daughter and a single granddaughter, and my and Sue, 3 girl family. I want to stop by Walmart. Okay, you're 84 pounds and sunshiny day. goes by Walmart, goes to an 18-year-old kid checking out on the cash register and says to him, "Can I ask you a question? You're a nice young man. Do you know a relationship with Jesus Christ? Do you know God?" He said, "Yes, ma'am, I do. I was taught that early on in my life. And how old are you now? I'm 18, almost 19. Well, I wanted you to know it's the most important thing you'd probably ever have." "Well, thank you, man." 12 hours later, 18 hours later, life is over. So if there's any encouragement on what matters or the impact you can have, she's talking to the next generation she's about to leave. She's handing them a baton of the truth that's been handed down through, accept it or not. And I just thought that was very powerful. Went home, had a little something to eat, took a nap. And when my daughter was in showering, came out and mom was resting and mom was still resting. So thanks for letting me share that. But encouragement in tragedy. And I got it from her. I'm watching her. It's like unbelievable.
Absolutely. Encouragement in tragedy. And when we witness death, when we witness life, we have an option in how we respond. We can get bitter often with loss, or we can accept and love that we had the time we did, however limited, with that person, and that we reached such a capacity of love. So I know, as someone who's experienced a lot of grief and loss, that encouragement comes through hope. Encouragement comes through those awesome memories, and also not denying that you're going through it, not denying, that you're struggling at times, and then being able to share that with those around you and having them uplift you is a wonderful, wonderful way for you to give others the opportunity to encourage you. So, yeah, Mark, tell me about what you've been up to. How have you been? Any encouraging stories this last week from you?
Well, there's always something happening, and just listening to Greg, it's good to see you. Listening to Nick, to you as well. It seems like the life is all about change. You always changing, your life is changing, people around you changing, and sometimes we hold on to a old life or the way things used to be. And I think that's when we give ourselves the injury, like, oh, why do you have to hold on to something that's no longer available to you, or no longer ever coming back? So I think if we can just remember, okay, so something's changing, why do I have to hold on to the way things were? And this also reminds me, um, whenever somebody comes to a new place, or bringing their own perspective, they said, this is the way we used to do it back at this time, or back where. And I think it stops progress. Instead of being open, accepting of change, and flowing through with change, um, we stop ourselves and we stop our progress. So that's what I've been thinking about. Also been praying about you, Nick, about the health, and make sure that you are recovering and healing. That's very important, and that's important to me because you are my dear friend.
Thank you so much, Mark. And I'll like to take just a couple of moments to address that now. I'm really excited because in the winter, as I struggled with different blood clots and that sort of thing, my world was upended. I began having to walk with a cane, and just my daily life was affected through those health challenges. As you know, I was about to play at Carnegie Hall, really looking forward to that. And the health situation was such a dark cloud. And although I tried to dispel it with encouragement and hope, at times that was difficult. And I made a commitment to myself to get healthy, to get whole, to get well after an episode I had 6, 7 weeks ago. where, originally we thought I had a small stroke, that sort of thing. Now they're wondering if it was a seizure. But, we're working through that now. Yesterday I had 3 appointments. I had a consultation. I had to have an ultrasound. I met with a general surgeon. I'm going to be having a hernia removed. I'm going to be having a gastric sleeve. And then also I'm making sure that I'm being proactive with any neurological issues I'm facing. But in the meantime, I started the first of 4 procedures on my legs to remove veins that were damaged. And I can already tell a difference. I'll tell you, although there's a bit of pain associated, the relief that I didn't even know I needed to feel is wonderful. So, as I continue on this journey of wellness and of wholeness, I've, made a lot of lifestyle changes and I'm going to continue to make those. So, I think as we encourage one another, it's important to encourage each other to be healthy. It's important to encourage one another to be whole. And if we can do that, it inspires people to live longer and to have more of a quality of life. And I think again, I didn't even realize that it was missing, and I feel better already. So I appreciate you all letting me share that. I know there have been questions, that kind of thing, but that's what's going on with me health wise. And again, it's important to be proactive, and that's exactly what I've been.
One thing I want to mention, Nick, is when people experience this difficult health challenges, um, when they have something to live for, right? Something to live forward to. What is that something for you? I'm wondering, what is that in the back of your mind that you live for?
I think that I live for just being able to share hope. And I know that sounds maybe abstract, but I lost everything. And what I found was hope. And to be able now to look forward to this new tour that we're launching in the fall, and Greg's a big part of that, and having just over 100 chances and opportunities to share the message of hope, to share quality music. I'm really, really excited about that. And so when I say hope, I do mean hope. That's the name of the tour. It's called The Power of Hope, Nick Patterson Live, and we'll be all over the US this upcoming year. So looking forward to that.
Okay, so that's
Will
another
be an
reason to
exciting
help, right?
time. Good morning. It will be an exciting time, and I just want to jump in if I can on the heels of that. Appreciate Nick giving me an opportunity to be a part of it. I'm the front running guy, make a few phone calls. They show up, I show up, I have fun. They call it work. I don't find any work in it myself, but it's a great joy and a calling of my life just to be able to evangelize, be able to get out in the masses. I can talk to people 4 in the room, 2 in the room, or in a one-on-one, and I enjoy them all. I enjoy being a church greeter. I want to go around and teach every single class, just let's do them in order, so that I can get a chance to get to them. It's just the drive or a calling that I have, and to have be a part of encouragement, practicing the true art of encouragement. I'm a Carnegie Hall guy that knows a guy named Mark Gai, and the TEDx talks, everything that you guys have done, just to be able to go out there. And the name of the tour is The Power of Hope. The Power of Hope. And transitioning through difficult times, Nick's sickness or Sue passing away last week, which is a gift. We saw it as the gift that finally gave that she could be relieved even in death, really puts a book in perspective, and the box gets short and clear. Therefore, it's not as hard to live in that box. I don't feel smothered. Yeah, I don't feel like I have to be whatever I can be for wherever I can be, or whatever philosophy you want to ascribe to. It's either self-drive, self-attainment, or total reliance on acceptance and what God gives you. It's very simply put, it's a blue collar guy's way of saying it. I'm sure all the philosopher statues are falling all this, all the big places in Europe. My philosophy is the same. When I hurt, I dig in. When I'm sad, I want to write something. When I was in prison, I wrote prolifically. If it wasn't law, I've got boxes of poems and writings and dramatizations. I'm crying and writing. I'll put it in a box. That was my time during that time of my life. Someone passing. So I just went right back to it. Um, hung up for my daughter, picked up my cell phone for the last 3 days. I've just been going through the Facebook account just for myself, who you might know. If we have at least one mutual friend, I just send them a Facebook, a friend request. It is, yes or no. I'm passing out popcorn, or candy in a parade. Just yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. And even in doing that, I offended somebody by thanking them and complimenting them in a way that they clearly were offended or something. But I got this morning, did another 52 and got 26 to respond. There you go. I'm not indifferent to anything. I'm not, never about rudeness. I want to be the guy that makes you want to go, that's funnier. Hey, oh, the hater's great. What's he into? Because he's going to be having something fun or happy or something, or just want to spend time together. But that there is forever. You'll never fix that. So don't try to fix it. Just try to be encouraging. And it was encouraging me to reach out, make a bunch of new friends. And my circle's bigger because I'm now going back and typing in a paragraph or speaking a paragraph into my phone and inviting them all to watch a podcast I'm now co-host of called The Art of Encouragement. And they watched my life walk out of nothing to this something. And this is a big something in my life, but you both know that. And I'm going to build it as much as I can. The part that Nick wants done, phone calls, scheduling, and agendas, that's easy. I got a Carnegie Hall guy. Hey, you want to hear a Carnegie Hall guy for free? We're coming to your public school. Here's how it's got to work. Mark,
Greg is a powerhouse. Like, okay, I love it. I think it's amazing. I think you can teach sales skills.
oh,
Like from
okay.
this, you can teach sales skills. This is interesting. I have been watching this summit this week and last week, and this presenter was saying that sales is service. Sales is service. If you want to achieve more, care more. And I thought, okay, so how is sales service? He said, well, if you're excited about something, you never sell. You just want to let everyone experience whatever that you are so passionate about, whether that's a book, a restaurant, or some new experience. And I thought that's interesting, right? It's not fake, it's not manipulation. If you really want to serve somebody, you do it. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. When we serve others, we help ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I thought, and I think that's a whole new spin on sales, right? Like, oh, I dread this phone call, I dread this whatever the contact, but what if it's service? What if you're so excited? And I really like it. I really like it, because I as I love sales. I love different business operations, and any new idea I can use in my toolbox, I just appreciate it so much.
Absolutely. And and again, with sales, as long as you're selling and you're representing something you're proud of, you're able to introduce people to an experience. Because if you've had a good experience with a product, with a person, it's not, get this, and that it's not worth the value you're asking for. And so I always think that it's important to remember. And if anyone's in sales, I was actually talking about this concept earlier. I'm not sure if you've heard of the top-down sales approach, but most people have. And that's how I was trained with Steinway University, is the top-down sales approach, where you give the very best. This is the one, everything else, we're taking things away. as we go smaller, as the price point decreases. It's just, what do you want to give up? Do you want to give up the warranty? Do you want to give up the craftsmanship? Do you want to give up the tone? Do you want, and you can apply that to anything. So if you're in sales, think about the value that your product brings, and consider how, with, if you, especially if you have a qualified lead, if you know what they already have or what they're already expecting, you're the one that needs to show how you excel in every area that their product doesn't. It takes some research, it takes some resilience, but if you do it enough, you're going to gain enough product information or enough industry insight to be able to just always just show how yours is the best, if it is. And if it's not, represent the best.
And it's just a
True.
given Bible principle. I mean, the ancients, the great money guys they're teaching now, teach right out of the book of Proverbs or spiritual truth about saving and interest and earnestness. What's the earnestness from something? Sweat equity, getting involved, working with people. And when people can sense that at all, you're out here helping me wash my car. This is just not a car wash.
Right.
Sure, sir, you paid the $21 to come in. I see the machine miss a little bit. See you next week. Thanks for coming. Oh, wow. Just something like that. People, I'm going to that car wash and they will tell everybody they've not yet met about that, including all the family, the people that they want to aggravate, that didn't want to hear from them. That's going to call them and tell them about the car. It's infectious when someone cares about you and want to meet the end goal. Carnegie Hall, could you imagine all churches in America who would not want to have a sacred music degree Carnegie Hall practice pianists come to their church free of charge? They can't afford it. It's mid-size, big size, wherever you're at in America. What's the real simple concept? Pastor, what are you and the board praying about and have been praying about to develop in your vision for your ministry that you cannot afford? Let's have a fundraiser. We'll take care of ourselves. We'll bless you with a donation, and we want you to spread the word. That's all the Bible. That's it. Jesus told 5,000 people, sit down. He's the difference, of course, putting God in it. Don't make that mistake of not doing that. Fed 5,000 people with what they thought they had. But in service, Mark, in service, they saw they had enough, and then he had them go back and pick up the remain. And isn't that the truth of service and sales? You go out, you serve, you look at the commission office. Now the phone's ringing. They're wanting to buy stuff. You haven't even talked to the people. Now you're not a sales rep, you're an order taker. A service and sales of many ways. The Bible's universal, it proves itself. It's powerful truth, certainly is. Mark?
I'm just so inspired today by both of you. I was a little bit under the weather earlier today, in the last couple of days, but I'm just inspired by just listening to you. So this is why we come to this podcast, and that way we come together is to uplift one another. And it's not just words; it's actually it's real. It's real. I can feel it, and just want to thank you both. Thank you for stepping up and stepping in, and just I feel so great to be part of it.
Absolutely. And so sorry to hear you haven't been feeling well, sir. While you're encouraging me to feel better, you're not feeling well yourself. So, wow. Wow. You're quite the guy, Mark Guy. But, you know, I think as we meet those on our journey, we need times like this where we just touch base. What's going on? How's everything going? And instead of having an agenda, today we're teaching people how to just get together and check on one another. There's no agenda here other than that, than to get updates and to encourage people and to model how we encourage one another as our trio here, as it were. So, you know, we want that collective energy of encouragement to permeate this Zoom, this Facebook Live, because it is real to us. Encouragement Giving one another hope is what sustains through health crises, through loss, through not knowing your next steps in life. I've talked to a lot of people in that realm lately. They just don't know the next steps to take. Maybe that's you today. Maybe you're saying, Nick, I don't know what to do. I have this option, I have this option, and this option, but this is one life, this is one life, and this is one life. I don't know what to do. What should I do? If you're facing those things today, we want to encourage you to just consider all elements of each situation. Consider your legacy. What is important right now? Because those things matter. But also with this decision, how does it affect you in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? If you're considering a job change, getting a degree, is it something that where you're temporarily frustrated and your feelings are getting in the way and causing you to want to make a choice that maybe isn't the best one? I encourage you today to consider that. Do you need to stick it out, or is it time to make that leap? If you're wanting to make a leap, we're here for you. That's what Mark and I do together. We coach people. We want to make sure that people who are wanting that next path or to get that TEDx speech, as Greg was referring to earlier, we want to work with you on those opportunities. But at the same time, we want to make sure that you are doing always what's best for you. And that's how we encourage each other is by knowing when it's time and when it's not. So before you make any drastic decisions this week, I want to encourage you, consider everything. Write it all down. There's power when we write it down instead of just typing it. And I also want you to make another list of your goals. What are your goals? Whether you're going through something or not, when's the last time you took the moment to write your goals down? And then maybe a path to achieving them. What does it take to accomplish it? Small bites, step by step. Mark taught me how to do that. And that's one of the ways he's encouraged me. A lot of times I get a big vision, but I don't really know the path to get there. By learning from someone on how to think differently, it's changed my life. It's changed my approach. It's changed my plan. When Greg and I are working in this other initiative, sure, I learned a lot of things through a TEDx coaching, but I'm transferring what I learned to Greg and I's initiative. That's what life's about. We encourage one another by sticking together and through one season to another. I was Mark's um protege, as it were. He was my coach, and now we work together. Now that I'm able to help Greg a little bit, it's so cool seeing this cycle of encouragement and living in it. If you're not part of something like we have, find it. If you can't find it, create it, invite it. People need this. They need small groups of people just rooting for one another. That's how we're spreading hope. That's how we're inspiring change, is by doing it. We're living it, and we really do care for each other. We want the best. We're not competing. We're just rooting for each other, and it feels awesome. I appreciate you guys, and that's all I've got to say today, but would love to hear from both of you. We'll see you guys next week, 10 a.m. right here. Mark and Greg.
Hey, listen, I'll let Mark close out. I'd like to encourage both of you this week to do something on purpose. If you see anybody in your walk of life naturally volunteering for something, pick one and go through the crowd and get to them, ask them if they want a water, whatever's appropriate to their situation. They're parking cars, they're volunteering, they're holding a money bucket, they're doing a blood drive. Find a volunteer and say, I was thinking about you earlier this week on a podcast. Link and prove it because we closed out with it. And that guy in the blue suit said he has been volunteering since freedom for almost 5 years, almost to the point of poverty. And I'm not being funny, but just base living. And it got me so weary because the thing that I got weary in, I didn't find people appreciated. People loved me around me, got a great crowd. But as a volunteer, I have a new drive to encourage you. Pick a volunteer anywhere you come across them if it happens, and encourage them that you're thinking about them and appreciate what they do.
I love that. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Nick, for keeping us all in this space,
Yeah,
giving
you're
us a
welcome.
chance
Sure.
to connect with each other every week and encourage between ourselves and also with guests. Also, I want to remind everyone of this resource I have access to. It's a book by Ogmandino, the greatest salesman in the world. It's how to sell, but at the end and at the base of this book is that all of your actions are based on service and on love. And sometimes I forget that. And if you have forgotten that, I recommend checking out this resource at your public library or Amazon and checking it out. The author is Ogmandino. The book is called The Greatest Salesman in the World. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great week, Mark.
You as well.